I am the St. James kind of representative liaison for CARITAS.
My name is Ijana Bennett. I am the Community Engagement Manager here at CARITAS. And so we're happy to be in St. James with you. Could you tell the folks your name and what you do here?
Yeah, Carrie AC, and I am the liaison between St. James's and CARITAS. We have been participating with CARITAS and really starting with Shelter Week as far as I can remember, probably either in the late 1990s or early 2000s. I don't have the exact date. Where we initially, and this was when it was truly the acronym CARITAS, congregations around Richmond involved to assure shelter, right? So we were one of the congregations that would host primarily in the wintertime is when they had the biggest need. It eventually became year-round, and we would host usually in the holiday season, and that was great. We would be able to just get a lot of kids that were out of school and families coming down and participating. And then over the years, we were initially hosting the men's shelter. We've also hosted the women's shelter here and there, and then we've also hosted the families as well.
Awesome. And do you have about an average on like how many people you might have hosted yearly? I guess pre us being at the CARITAS Center?
Yeah. Eventually, we probably had an average of 100 people, volunteers that would participate in all the different ways throughout the week. And when we hosted here at the church, that involved, 3 meals, coming down in the evenings and spending time with the participants, making brown bag lunches, taking them, doing laundry services, all of that. So lots of people involved and really, loved participating with this.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned, I guess, your partnership and the way in which you guys hosted CARITAS pre our center. And I was wondering, can you share a little bit about the transition between hosting in St. James and then now hosting at CARITAS?
Sure. So we originally, before this part of our church was renovated, we were hosting in our space called Gibson Hall. When this space was renovated, the guests would come and stay downstairs. They would check in every night. When it was our week, the vans would come and bring their cots and all their belongings and things. We had access to showers downstairs. Before this building was renovated, we would take them in vans and they would go to the YMCA to take showers and things. So it has progressively become easier and easier. Now we do not have to, have overnight staff, here, which we did when we were hosting at the church. The transition has made it much better for the guests and the participants. And it's been a good transition for our volunteers as well to have it all in, one space. So it's worked out well.
So I had a question around, you mentioned the renovation here in the Misha house?
Yes.
And so when you guys renovated, did you renovate with CARITAS in mind? I know you mentioned that there were 2 showers that were placed in the basement, right? And so
I suspect that we did. I don't know that for sure. But because it was an important ministry to us, I suspect that we had that in mind when we were renovating, yes.
That's awesome. Okay, so can you share a little bit about like the planning process or how intricate that might have been to be able to have all of these moving pieces?
Yes. Well, we had, I had co-chairs, great co-chairs, and we worked starting months ahead of time, just trying to plan and organize. And there's a lot of moving pieces, as you can imagine. When you have a congregation this size and trying to work around all the other activities that are going on in the church. We set aside this week where we have, we need the kitchen space and our main kind of gathering space, the basement downstairs, which is a beautiful space, but we have to, kind of work around other programming that's happening. But as far as getting volunteers involved, there's a lot of recruiting that goes on, just trying to, get the word out about what the need is. Some spots are easier to fill than others. The overnight spots, we had to encourage some people to, get their blow up mattress and, and stay here. But yeah, so it was a lot of, there were a lot of moving parts that all came together. So
yeah, that's wonderful. So now that we are at the CARITAS Center, and again have our women and men, they are staying permanently in our space. We know that you guys do a Bridge Week. Can you share a little bit about some of the projects that you all do, and just really want to encourage other churches who were our previous partners, and because we have the pandemic as well as the changes of us being in the center, just how could other churches maybe participate? If you could share your experience, and then
sure. So there's been a number of things that I think now that we are, the participants are in one place, has made it a little bit easier to recruit volunteers. There's just a known there. And we don't have to, recruit overnights. The hours are a little bit more reasonable. We'll stay with the women currently and play games, do, spa night, this and that. And usually that wraps up a little earlier, so we don't have, late nights anymore. And I think it's wonderful that the women don't have to pack up all their things and, move every week to a different location. So I know there's a lot of burden eased on them as well.
Absolutely. When did you renovate this building again?
I want to say in the around 2008-ish.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 2006 to 8. And then we'd say a blessing and then go and sit down. Our Sunday school classes would make placemats and tablecloths with, just welcoming, saying some pictures and things.
Yeah, this is a really nice kitchen. I was not expecting. And not for the video, in general. Generally, I was like, wow.
For a church, yeah.
Wonderful. How many floors is this building?
3.
Okay. Where you said Sunday service?
Yeah. Yes.
Or not Sunday service.
So here are the 2 bathrooms.
Oh, okay.
And there are showers down here.
Yeah.
So they.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yep. The showers are here.
So we had shower signups, but basically you could take a shower every night if you wanted to.
Wonderful.
So this was a big step up. So they would come in through actually this door over here, and they would check in. On the first day, they'd bring in all their belongings, find a spot, and that was their spot for the week. We would put movies on, and they had a space when we were hosting the kids, for maybe nursing. There was foosball and things for the kids to play with. A lot of the men like to watch their sports down here during the week, so it was a great space.
Yeah, this is a great space.
Yeah.
It's interesting. When you guys hosted CARITAS, did you give opportunities for any of the members of the shelter to attend service? What?
Not services, because that was only on Sundays, and they had to be out by a certain time in the morning, and then they couldn't come back until the evening. But we did do evening prayers. That's one thing that's missing from doing that down at the center. Right. Yeah. So.
When we live from a place of hope, then we can believe all of the things that we hear in Scripture.
It's all renovated, if you can imagine. This was our kitchen and dining space. This whole area here.
Wow.
Okay. So kind of like we saw over in Valentine Hall, we had, a kitchen not nearly as, nice as the one they built over there.
You go there, yeah. Or was
no,
she the catalyst for the relationship?
She was not a catalyst for the relationship.
Okay.
She came to St. James. It was after, really, I think after we had even renovated the Misha house. And I don't know what her history is as far as like coming to St. James's, but I just, getting to know her, all that she was responsible for, this, this vision that she had for bringing everything together. She brought the men's healing place and CARITAS together under one umbrella. They were separate, for a little while, and then building this to take the women out of the weekly shelter to put it all in one space too. So yeah, she's pretty amazing, and she started the Works program, I think, too. So
yeah. Wonderful. That's cool. Oh, awesome. Yeah, cool. Well, let's walk into Works, huh? And you had mentioned that some of your parishioners or people will come and volunteer,
right? And
they will help with mock interviews,
right? Both resume building and mock interviews, and just helping with that whole process. Yep. Yeah, I know that we have done backpack drives to supply lots of backpacks for the graduates too.
Wonderful, that's great. Can you share a little bit more about, I guess, how the relationship between St. James and CARITAS has grown, and then other volunteer initiatives that you guys have been a part of?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when we were hosting our shelter work at the church, we were involved with the intake process. We were a base church where people would come and check in, and then they would get load on the bus and go to the host churches for the week. So we were participating in that as well. As we have grown, we have also been a part of the Works program, and we have some parishioners who will help with building resumes, doing mock interviews, so that they can get prepared for the real world interviews. Years we've done backpack drives that all the Works graduates will get as they get on into the workforce. Let's see, we have come and built furniture with a furniture bank. We actually have one of our parishioners who started a 10K training team for the men of the healing place, and supplied running shoes and ran with them training, and then ran with them during the 10K. Was a really fun time for them too.
Can you share a poignant story about our partnership between St. James and CARITAS?
Well, one thing that comes to mind recently during our Bridge Week this year is one night we had chair yoga. And the next day when I came back for the next evening, one of the women shared that it motivated her to join a gym. So I loved hearing that. And then on the last night, we had spa night. And one of the women came out, and she said that she was a self-described extreme introvert. And she, pushed herself to come and participate in our spa night. And it was her first manicure that she's ever had, and hand massage, and she was really glad she did. So I loved hearing that she, pushed herself outside of her comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds like based on some of the activities that you provided for the women here, that they were able to maybe learn things about themselves or things that they potentially like you said, doing the chair yoga, and then her wanting to join a gym, and then it's just like kind of like opened their eyes to new experiences.
Yes, and it really is. It's beneficial to all parties. It is so meaningful for me and for all of us St. Jamesers. We get a lot out of the relationship that we have. When we come down and spend time and share some fellowship with these women. Sometimes it's just those one-on-one moments or conversations where you can really see the resilience and the determination of some of these people, even through all the things that they've been through. and it's been wonderful.
So how does our partnership or a relationship between a religious institution and a social service center serve as a model for other community relationships and partnerships?
Yeah, I think that being in a Christian community, we are called by God to serve others, to love and serve our neighbors. And what better way to do that than to be a part of the CARITAS organization where we share the same goals.
So we are looking forward to just continuing this relationship and have a lot of, potential ideas for the future. We're just curious to know, like, what are your heart around, like, future plans with CARITAS, and where do you see this relationship moving?
Sure. I mean, our goal is to just continue with the amazing relationship that we've had with CARITAS. We had a little bit of a stall over COVID, and it's been a little bit, we've ramped up a little bit more to try to work back towards getting the word out for the new center and the opportunities we have for our Bridge Week. CARITAS offers so many different opportunities to get involved that you can find a fit for you.